What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Tindangles. Now, Tindangles is a flip-based deck that actually got some support in the last two sets, Dawn of Majesty and King's Court, and definitely got some pretty good support. So I figured, why not update the deck? So without further ado, let's get right into it. First off, I run 3 Tindangle Jelth. Drelth. When it is flipped, you can take one flip monster from your deck except Drelth and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. And if this card is in your hand, you can discard one other card, send one Tindangle card from your deck to the graveyard, except Tindangle Drelth, and if you do, special summon this card and face down defense position. So not as a Foolish Burial, it's also a Searcher, and this summons itself from the hand, so it's just an overall really good card. Next, we got Tindangle Doles. When this card is flipped, you can send one spell trap from your deck to your graveyard. Which is really good because most of the Tindangle spell and traps actually have effect to where you can banish them from the graveyard. And if this card is sent from a hand or deck to the graveyard, you can target one Tindangle monster in your graveyard, except Doles, special summon it, and face down defense position. And once per turn, a Tindangle Link monster that use this card as Link material can make 3 attacks during each battle phase. So this card can basically, once you get into your Tindangle Acute Cerberus, you can make it have a whole bunch of attack, and make it attack a whole bunch of times. So this deck definitely has OTK potential. So you can go second with this deck if you want to. I'm still kind of not sure whether going second is best because it's a flip-based deck. So I run the 3 Tindangle Trinity. Trinity, when it's flipped, you can special summon Tindangle base Gardener from your deck. And if this card is flipped face up, your Tindangle monsters cannot be destroyed by battle. If this card is sent to the graveyard as Link material for the Link summon of a Tindangle monster, you can add 1 Gorgon's End, which in this deck profile, I will not be using because I don't run Gorgon's End. I thought about it and I just took it out because I just don't really like Gorgon's End and it's not really worth running. Next, I run the 2 Tindangle Angel. Angel, when it's flipped, you can special summon one flip monster from your hand or graveyard and face down defense position. Then if it's your opponent's battle phase, end the battle phase. So it's kind of like got a little bit of a battle phase effect. Next, I run the 2 base Gardener. If you control a face down defense position monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position. You only special summon base Gardener once per turn this way, and if a monster is not special summoned and is now pointed to by an opponent's Link monster, you contribute this card special summon Tindangle monster from your hand or deck in attack position or face down defense position. I also run the 1 Tindangle Protector. Protector I cut down to 1, mainly just because out of all the Tindangles, I feel like it is the weakest one. Well, that I actually run. When it's flipped, you can change up to 3 face down defense position monsters. You can roll 2 face up defense position. Then if all those monsters are Tindangle monsters, you can add up to that many Tindangle cards from your deck to your hand. I run 1 Tindangle Intruder. Intruder, you don't want to open it because if you open it in your hand, you're not really going to be able to do a whole lot with it. If you have Drelth, you can send it off of Drelth, but that's only if you open those 2 in tandem. When it's flipped, you can add 1 Tindangle card from your deck to your hand. And when this card is normal summon, you can send 1 Tindangle card from your deck to the graveyard. If a monster is special summoned to your field in face down defense position while this card is in your graveyard, special summon this card in face down defense position. Next, I run 2 Puppet Master. When this card is tribute summoned, you can pay 2,000 life points, then target 2 fiend monsters in your graveyard to special summon those targets, but they cannot attack this turn. So let's say you have a Tindangle Drelth, and you have Puppet Master in hand. Basically, if you use the effect of Tindangle Drelth, discarding 1 Tindangle, sending 1 Tindangle from your deck to your grave, you can special summon this one face down, tribute it for Puppet Master, special summon those other 2 Tindangles back, and you can basically just go into your Acute Cerberus. And if one of those was Doles, that's pretty much an OTK right there. And lastly, I run 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring for my hand traps. Moving on to spells, I run 3 Nagel's Protection. Tindangle monsters in your main monster zone cannot be destroyed by battle or by opponent's card effect, and once per turn, if your Tindangle monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, the damage is doubled. And you can banish this card from your graveyard, discard 1 Tindangle card, add 1 Nagel's Protection from your deck to your hand. So if it's in the grave, you can just search out basically another copy. Next, I run 3 Stairs of Mail. Stairs of Mail, during your main phase, you can activate this effect, discard 1 Tindangle card, and if you do, apply one of these effects. Change the face down defense position monster you control to face up attack, and then change the face up attack to face down defense position. Mostly you're going to be using it for the first effect to target a face down defense position monster to flip a face up. And since this is a flip based deck, I also run 3 Book of Taiyu. Book of Taiyu, flip 1 face down monster on the field to face up attack position. So basically it can trigger any of your flip monsters' flip effects. I also run 3 Pot of Prosperity. In my last deck profile, I think I ran Allure of Darkness, but I think Power of Prosperity is just a little bit better because you can dig it into the cards you more specifically want, like your, for example, your Puppet Master, your Drelth. Drelth is usually the best card. I also run 3 Double Summon. I run Double Summon usually in basically any flip-based deck because that's just more effects you can get. And one thing I did notice is that most of the effects, when they're summoned face down. And with that, let's say I want to go into a Link play or something like that, then I really can't. At least with Double Summon, I can get another, like let's say I have to normal Trinity, for example. With Double Summon, I can normal Trinity, then tribute it for the Puppet Master to still go in for an OTK. I also run the 2 Foolish Barrel of Goods. You really only need 2 because there's several ways in this deck to where you can just dump Tindangle cards from your deck to your graveyard. As for the traps, I only run 3. 3 of Tindangle Deluncy. Deluncy, when you take battle damage from an opponent's attacking monster, while you have 3 or more Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can destroy the attacking monster, and if you do, special summon 1 Tindangle Acute Cerberus from your extra deck. If you control no monsters in the extra monster zone, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 3 Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them in face down defense position. Moving on to the extra deck. First, I run 3 Tindangle Acute Cerberus. Acute Cerberus gains 3,000 attack if you have 3 or more Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, including Tindangle-based Gardna, and it gains 500 attack for each Tindangle monster this card points to. At the end of the battle phase, if this card declared an attack, you can special summon 1 Tindangle token. Now for the rest of the cards, is basically just good generic cards, which is why I run Pot of Prosperity, because Acute Cerberus is really the only one you really care about. So I run an IP package with Masquerena, Phoenix, and Unicorn. I run a Mech Knight Crusadia Avermax in case Acute Cerberus isn't quite finishing it off. The 1 Borreload Savage Dragon, an Access Code, and an Apollosa for my Link monsters. Now for my XYZ monsters, I run the 1 Garrus, Ex-Con Knight, Fist Dweller, Tornado Dragon, and a Constellar Pleiades. That's it for my Tindangle deck profile. Let me know, what do you think of the new cards? Do you think they're really good? Do you think they really give this deck a boost? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.